Hello, everyone. Welcome to another interesting episode of the MI podcast. If you're new to the MI podcast, we discuss all things marketing and media. So please, if you are in this field or you find topics in this field interesting, kindly subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and we are also available on all the podcast networks. Today's a very interesting topic to discuss. In the digital age about the personal brand. I feel what a personal brand can do today is what maybe 10 salespersons could do in the past, and even more than that. So, today, like say in a B2B scenario, when we look at people, in terms of the decision making process to a person getting to be a qualified lead for you, it's a complete process which I would say is into the marketing funnel. They are looking up your business on your website, the social media of it, you maybe as the founder, what you are doing online, what you're posting, what are the videos of you, maybe the podcast you've attended, the places you've been, you've covered in your social media. So everything is kind of so important and is a kind of a reference point for people even before they consider your business. So in their even research phase, that all comes in. So it's a proper process how it's done today, because I think the digital age, social media has matured quite a lot. So, and there are quite a few experts out there who help building your personal brand, especially for in B2B where you have platforms like LinkedIn. So we have one such expert with us today, and we'll just bring her on. Awesome. So it's great to have you, Shambhavi. How are you?
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you for having me, and I'm good. How are you?
All good. And you're joining us from Gurgaon, that's right?
Yeah, from Gurgaon, yes.
That's right, that's right. So I think you're someone who was, quite quickly in terms of you've emerged as a top, content creator when you look at on LinkedIn, and then somewhere where you have specialized now uh, in terms of forming personal brands for people, especially founders. So a little bit about that we can kind of explore, but firstly, like just a little bit about yourself, like if you all can know, like where did you study and then how did you start your career?
Sure. I would love to give a small brief and background about myself. Of course, 90% of people know me as a personal branding strategist. So that's pretty much a lot, associated with my name. But definitely, I have a story how I started and where I belong from. So, from the last 3 years, I've been living in Gurgaon, but my hometown is Prayagraj, UP, which is definitely, the talk of the town for all the good reasons after Mahakumbh. So that's pretty much the place I belong from, and I've done my graduation from the University of Allahabad itself. And just to let you guys know, I don't really have a specific background in marketing or writing. I am a BCom graduate, and initially my motive was to do MBA, probably get a college placement, and get to do something in marketing. But I never thought that I'll get into writing or personal branding. But as a student, I was very fascinated towards researching, reading, and writing. So I was never very keen into getting bookish knowledge or attending lectures. I was always into the creative side of the education. Even in college, I used to go to college just so that I can get the exposure. I can make new friends, I can meet new people, all of those things. And in the first year of college itself, I also got the Miss Freshers award. So we had this competition, and we had to be on stage, present ourselves, give our introduction, and a couple of other rounds. And I, won that title. And after that, I just really got that kick of confidence that apart from studies and all, there is a huge exposure for people to do something out of their comfort zone. So, I started looking out for internships. I started looking out for ways in which I can probably start working instead of waiting to be a graduate and then look out for jobs. And to be honest, the market is not very good for BA, BCom graduates. Like, if you just have a graduation degree, even as an engineer these days, you won't be getting high paying jobs. You have to do something different. You have to upskill yourself. You have to develop skills that can probably make you attract better opportunities. So while I was in college, I was also looking out for different opportunities. And because I knew that I am decent writer, I thought that let's try something from the writing field. And I got my first internship during 2020 as a content writer. That's how my journey started. And during that internship, as a content writer slash blog writer, my team lead in that particular company told me that you should make a LinkedIn profile, and whatever blogs that you are writing for us, you should also promote those blogs and those content on LinkedIn. So to be honest, I was very naive at that time. I was very clueless about all these things. I didn't know that there is something like content creation on LinkedIn. Like 80% of people today think that, not 80%, but probably a huge chunk of people still believe that LinkedIn is for job seeking, or for hiring managers and recruiters. And I also had that mindset that it is for jobs. What will I do talking about my journey or content over there? But I remember, in that particular internship, I learned a lot about LinkedIn. I made my profile, and whatever content I used to write for the company, I started, sharing those blogs and sharing those articles on LinkedIn. And that's how slowly and gradually I built my network. And after that, the journey has been pretty exciting. After that internship, I did a couple of corporate jobs. But from the last 2.5 years, I've been full time into building my own personal branding business, and have been working with a lot of top tier founders, brands, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, corporate trainers, and also service providers like me, to scale their personal brands on LinkedIn, get leads, get B2B business, get customers, and build visibility on the platform. And really happy to share that I've been on a couple of other panel discussions as an expert. I recently, last year, I was always also awarded as the Rising LinkedIn Creator of the Year award by the Global Startup Summit 2025. And yeah, I've worked with 100 plus clients globally from 10 plus countries. So, and still in the process of working with more emerging startup founders. Sorry for the long introduction though, but yeah, over to you now.
That's right. That's right. I think that's like you have done the elevator pitch also. That happens that you are stating all the things like you're used to giving that introductions, and also it's kind of very well rounded in that case. So awesome. So Shambhavi, when we look at now, personal branding on LinkedIn, like um, in terms of what do you face like when you go in the market and you're in terms of the reaching out to prospective clients, in some case like it would appear like on the outside to the layman who's not been into this whole B2B space, digital marketing, selling and all, that it would be like a more vanity kind of, like you have a lot of LinkedIn followers and there's an influence or whatever, you post your opinions on it. But
Hmm.
today, like a little bit to the audience, you can explain where it's a very functional aspect. Like it's not like just um, creating a LinkedIn star or something on it. It is more like a functional business element in it. Like you get the more credibility, leads, and that can lead to more conversions, and then your business growing quite fast. So, can you explain a little bit of that angle to the audience?
Sure, I think you have brought a very valid point here, because a lot of people come to LinkedIn from a point of view that I want to become an influencer or get followers, get impressions, get lots and lots of likes. And then they wonder that I have the followers, I have the likes, but why don't I have a single client? So, this is a very important aspect that I want to address today, because to be honest, I've been into the industry for the last 6 years. I am in touch with so many creators. I keep going to these networking events, business events, LinkedIn creator meetups, and all. And there are so many creators who have lakhs and lakhs of followers and have zero leads from LinkedIn. Because virality can bring you impressions and numbers and metrics. But if you want to get leads and clients from LinkedIn, then you have to show the social proof. You have to tell
So in
people what.
Shambhavi, are you saying that they have a huge following on LinkedIn itself, still they are not able to pull any clients.
Right, because again, number one, the numbers are not really always coming from the target audience. For example, if you have 50,000 followers or
Hmm.
80,000 followers for that matter, if more than
Hmm.
60 or 70% of followers are like scattered and random, and just 10% probably of the followers are target audience, firstly, your content will be pushed to your first degree connections. And if those people are not interested in your content or probably not your target audience, they might look at your post, they might like it, drop a comment, but they're not going to give you business because they are not your audience. So numbers
Hmm.
or impressions or even likes, if they are coming from random people, scattered audiences, then it is not going to bring you business. I also know people who have less than 5,000 followers and they are making seven figures just from LinkedIn, because they know how to do outreach, they know how to land deals through the DMs, how to build relationships in the DMs, they know the right metrics in terms of how they can get in touch with the right audience, and they have just built their credibility beautifully in terms of showing the social proof. So, people say that, okay, post about your journey, post about your failure stories, and all of that is very important. But if you are a service provider like me and you want money, you want business, you want clients, you want leads from LinkedIn, then just sharing stories about you, about your journey is not enough. There should be a balance. 70% can be story centric content, but 30% has to be social proof, where you talk about client case studies, you talk about use cases, you talk about the impact that you have created for your clients, or you have to hit the pain point of your target audience. For example, if you are into video editing, for example, if you are a video editor and you want to get leads from LinkedIn, firstly you have to identify those people who are creating video content. If you have all those people in your connections who are not camera friendly or who are not looking out for video editing services, there's no point of you creating content, right? So
That's right.
firstly,
I think somewhere it comes in that you are creating content in your space, right? In that domain itself. That's the first thing. Like you'll have a lot of people on LinkedIn where they will comment on issues, like because now LinkedIn has become like an open public platform. So
right,
you'll talk about something trending or that can push people to comment, or some personal experience which is outside your domain. So those
right,
guys can gain followers also in the case of certain level founders and managers, because people are also look for job indirectly, right? And they connect with them, so that gives you the following. But then obviously it's not going to convert into the
business.
anything fruitful in terms of business kind of thing. So yeah, like what would you say, like you've connected with anyone having a decent amount of following, and then how did you like flip it into like actually converting into some kind of business, anything like that you've done recently?
So definitely, I mean, I sit on LinkedIn for like more than 13 hours a day. From my profile, from my client's profile also, and I audit and study like 50 or tens of profiles in a day. So I do come across profiles that I see that have decades of experience, like they have 20
Hmm.
years, 25 years of experience, but when I land to their LinkedIn profile, I see nothing. I see nothing. And when I get on discovery calls with these people who are probably consultants, have like six-figure agencies, but when I talk to them and they are like, oh, I've done this, but I ask them, but I checked your LinkedIn, I couldn't see anything. And then they share their story that we want to be active on LinkedIn but we don't know how to. So I have met so
Also
many
the
people.
time they must be saying, I'm kind of so busy in my
Busy.
work. I mean, it's a very high demand job, so
Right.
it's kind of difficult for me. And also in some cases when they even freelance, in terms of giving in terms of their freelancing like personal branding, those guys aren't putting that kind of effort which is required for their profile, right? In terms of the
Right.
content and even engagement strategies that are there.
Right. And of course, because you're building a business, I think your focus should be on business development rather than stressing over creating content, which is why there are people, there are ghostwriters, there are strategists in the market who can help you with that process. And I understand that initially it might be a bit difficult for you to hire people for you, but once you scale a bit or once you are actually serious about scaling your business and building a personal brand, I think this investment is worth every penny.
Awesome. So Shama will get into the meat of the discussion. So when we look at, let's look at the specifics. We kind of have kind of opened with importance of personal branding and how it can lead, but like let's look at some specifics in it in the buying process. So in B2B, what is the role now in personal branding where you can invest more or a certain level in personal branding in terms of time, effort, and resources
Hmm.
compared to a sales team, and that what kind of output that can specifically get to you.
Right. See, firstly, Nikhil, every team exists for a reason. So I'm not going to say that sales team has nothing to do and you should probably fire all the sales people and just focus on your personal brand. Every job exists for a reason. But I feel that instead of having five people selling or pitching your product, you can have two people selling and pitching your product, and rest of the job can be done through your personal brand. And I will explain how that is possible. So if you are a
Hmm.
D2C founder, for example, you have a product based business, or if you are a B2B founder, any category founder, basically, you have any kind of product or service, I feel that right now people associate with the faces of the brand or the product before they associate with the product itself. And I will give you a very small example. I've said it before, I will say it again. If you have heard about brands like Hyphen, which is a skincare brand by Kriti Sanon, right? To be honest, I've used their product. I've also done a brand collaboration with them. Their products are good, but not like nothing that has not existed before. But still people have the
Hmm.
trust in the brand because we already know Kriti Sanon, for the matter. We know her, as an actor, and after she started promoting her products, building that trust was very easy among the customers. So I think she hardly has marketing team. I mean, as far as what I have heard, they do have a marketing team, but 90% of the marketing comes from Kriti herself, which is why I believe
Hmm.
that as a founder, you should be the face of your brand. You should invest into your building a personal brand where you come across as the advocate of your brand and talk about it. Talk about the pain point of your customer, the gap that you are filling in your industry, how you are helping people, how your product or service can help the people. So once you do all of that and you combine your sales team, then I think both the efforts combined can bring you immense results, right? So if you, I mean, if your sales team is pitching an investor, or whatever it is, if you are pitching a customer also, and if they land to your LinkedIn profile and they see a beautifully optimized LinkedIn profile and they see accountability, it's easier for me to invest in your service and product because now I trust you. So I think traditional
That's
sales
right.
systems are kind of outdated now and people should upskill.
That's right. Shambi, definitely in the case of the celebrities, and then you name Kriti Sanon, so they have a team, like, and you can say like a personal branding or team only, where they are putting out content. Now, one is the aspect where, like here in the case of a movie star, you will be kind of regular on Instagram and sharing BTS content or where all you've been and your shoots and all those things. But there'll be a little bit different strategy, which I think even Kriti Sanon or some other stars who are into now the some kind of business, they are showcasing with their team, like they're talking about their product and how it's made and that thing.
Mhm.
Like we've seen Deepika Padukone also, you're showing some kind of a team meeting and they are showcasing that. So there is a kind of effort within their business to showcase that, like the business aspect, not the
Hmm.
star aspect of it. So yeah, those efforts, I think personal branding, they are also, even though they have a big name, but within the category, like you mentioned, the TG specific, that an audience, the segment which will most probably buy from them, want to know more about the product. There is definitely, I think, a strategy within that as well.
That's true, and that also comes under company branding when we talk about building a brand, not just a founder led personal brand, but like a company brand as well. That is when I think such kind of content strategies work a lot more, where you talk about behind the scenes, where the founder talks about leadership, team building, about their team, probably about their creative team, how they are working, talking about the campaigns that they are running for the company. So I think when it comes to company branding and you associate it with your personal brand, definitely it works out pretty well. And even if you are not a celebrity, even if you are a normal person building a startup, right? I know a lot of people who first built their personal brand and after that they produced a service or a product. So I think
Hmm.
if you are somebody who wants to build something of your own but you are not sure how to get started, this is the first step. The first step is to firstly build the community who have the trust in you, who like your content, who like your work, and after that, in a very subtle way, you can launch your service or a product.
That's right. So in this, like, let's take a very common example. Like we can just go through. It'll be really interesting for an audience also. So, like, say you have a digital marketing agency. When we say now that okay, instead of you're having these five salespeople, and then you can have the people who are posting into for your own content, right? Like on social media, and also how will this work out? So you have a digital marketing agency. What kind of strategy would you say for them in terms of personal branding for the founder?
For the founder, see, firstly,
Yeah,
digital marketing is very wide. There are so many elements
yeah,
inside of digital marketing. Are you into product packaging? Are you into social media, or are you into website SEO, landing pages? It depends. But I will, on a
mm,
surface level, I will definitely give you an idea, because digital marketing is one of the best industries that can be promoted on LinkedIn. So if you are into
yeah,
any kind of digital marketing, social media marketing, and you have just started your agency, first of all, I think in your case education is not that important, because people now know that digital marketing is important. If you are building a
yeah,
product, then probably you should firstly create educational content around it, that okay, I've built this particular product, you should buy it because it is so useful.
mm,
But in case of digital marketing, people know that it is important. So instead of focusing on
mm,
creating any kind of educational content, please shift towards talking about the kind of case studies or the kind of results that you can bring for your clients, and pick up a particular niche. For example, if you are doing digital marketing for the hospitality sector, then pick up the top hospitality brands or companies and talk about how you could have done their branding better if you were hired
mm.
as an agency.
Or like say you're reviewing one of their campaigns and
Yeah,
advertisement, and so there
and
people
giving
know
your
that
point of view
some
that,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, showcasing that you know something about that's why you're giving an opinion about it, and maybe if it's in a structured way, that is having a more impact on the audience.
Right, right. And I will give you a like a small example also. If you know about Kiran Shah, he's the founder of Go Zero, which is like an ice cream brand. So recently he put this post on LinkedIn saying that we are looking for creative video editors for our ad campaigns. And if you
Mm,
want to be hired, or if you want to become a part of our team, you don't have to fill out an application. You have to make a LinkedIn post where you actually show me how you can be creative for our branding and marketing. And there were like hundreds and hundreds of graphic designers, video editors, who started posting on LinkedIn, doing the branding of his ice cream brand, and giving ideas of how the campaign could have been better. And I mean, it blew my mind, because firstly, indirectly, Kiran was promoting his brand, because hundreds and hundreds of people suddenly started posting about it. And secondly, he got the best candidate for his company, because he could actually see the real creative work of the person. So as a digital marketing agency also, you can do the same thing. You can dissect the best of the best brands campaigns or their marketing strategy, and then tweak it, understand how you can be better at it, and then create a LinkedIn post out of it, post it, tag the founder, tag the company, make sure that you stay active on your LinkedIn, keep checking on the comments and everything. I think it can be one of the best marketing tactics.
that's right. So, Shambhavi, we look at, like when we are saying that influence is much more there, in the whole process when, they are inquiring about your service also. When they come to you, there has been an impact of, your content. Either they discovered it or they looked it up. Like, many people even Google the thing and they can discover your videos or something about it, right? When they are looking up the thing. So,
Hmm.
just wanted to know, like, what kind of impact when you see in terms of the first sales conversation that I have and the conversion rate, how it increased. Like if you could just explain that impact of the personal branding, in terms of the conversion rate, the leads coming into the conversions.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. So I think leads can come for any business. Even if you don't have a personal brand, you can try different tools for doing lead generation and outreach. But again, the main part is of how the leads get converted. And for the conversion, I think a personal brand plays a major role. For example, if I'm a founder, I am having like 10 pitches in my DMs, right? And all these are like the leads. But out of those 10 people, I will only hire the best one. So in order for you
Hmm.
to become the best person, or for you to stand out in the market, firstly have a LinkedIn profile that has very clear messaging in terms of how you can help or how you can add value for
Hmm.
your clients. Right from your LinkedIn profile headline till the about section till the experience section, the SEO should be great. You should have the right kind of keywords, you should have the right kind of visual branding, you should be very clear in terms of what kind of services you have to offer and why. I mean, everyone has a differentiating factor. I believe everybody has their unique selling proposition. So identify your USP and make sure that your entire LinkedIn profile speaks about your USP. So that if I am texting you that, hey, I want to work with you, so you will definitely click on my profile and go through my profile. So if you like what I have built, if you like what I have been doing in my industry, then you will revert back to me and ask me that, okay, let's give it a shot, maybe we can land on a discovery call. So now when the clients come on the discovery call, he already knows about you, he already knows about your business, they have already seen your personal brand. And I think client testimonials play a major role, and a lot of people miss it. So I think whoever you are working with,
Hmm.
please get some feedback and testimonials on your LinkedIn profile. Because if you are getting on any discovery calls, if the client asks you that, okay, you are showing that you have done this, what is the proof? You should have testimonials ready, and that should be out there on your LinkedIn profile, not just on your pitch deck. Because you can add anything on your deck, but it should be there on your LinkedIn profile. So I think that influence is definitely very, very necessary if you want to land high ticket clients and attract premium customers.
That's right. So you're saying like obviously your LinkedIn optimization, even on your particular profile, like there are various aspects, and I think over the last few years, LinkedIn has brought in various
Features.
features within that LinkedIn that you can look at optimizing. Which we'll have a bit of a discussion on that also, like how we optimize it a bit more, because like there are so many things like you kind of miss out, and it depends on who you are and what stage, like you are as a business or you are a corporate professional or something, we can kind of look at that. So when we, anything you want to share like with among your clients, like conversion rates, increasing, because the biggest challenge today now is the conversion rate very low. Like you have leads, 20 leads, and hardly one qualified leads are becoming like two three, and maybe one also is not even converting, right? You're just
Hmm.
coming close. So the conversion rate is coming really down, and then because then it's like you have to reach to many more people, right? And that is a time, effort, resources involved in that. So you've noticed anything where exactly you see numbers that in a span of time this much, the conversion rate is increased for the clients?
Right. See, of course, conversion has a lot to do with your sales pitches and your technique as well. I mean, how confident you are on the sales call,
Yeah.
how you are carrying the conversation forward, because even the best of the best clients will not take your product or service if they are not convinced. So, firstly, I mean, work, of course, on your personality development and all of those things. But if I talk from the LinkedIn perspective, I think having an optimized profile is important, and I will give you the elements that need to be optimized for more visibility. So if you want to be seen, if you want to be searched within your industry, firstly try to identify your keyword and help your profile get ranked for that keyword. For example, if my
Hmm.
keyword is personal brand, you will find the word personal brand at least 15 times in my profile. And because of that, if
Hmm.
anybody is searching for personal branding strategies, there are like more than 70% of chances that my profile will pop in the first 5 search results, because that
Hmm.
keyword density is
So
so
you're
high in
basically
my
seeding
profile.
it also, like you are placing it in
The right
appropriately. Obviously, it
places.
cannot be stuffing
Yeah.
like in certain places which you use certain techniques for.
Right. So, firstly, beginning from the profile URL itself. So, you have your LinkedIn link that you share with people. And in every LinkedIn link, there is a random number attached after your name, and people don't pay attention to it. And you actually get an option where you can edit your public profile URL. So, what you can do is you can go on that edit section and you can edit that particular number and replace it with your keyword. It can be content writer, personal branding, video editing, agency founder, any keyword. Replace that. So now your name is associated with that particular keyword. The second element comes like the main name. For example, if my name is Shambhavi Gupta, I also get an option on LinkedIn that you can change your custom pronouns. वहां पे people put he her she sorry he him she her. People don't know that okay, this can be edited too. So what you can do is go on your profile, click on the edit button, go in the custom pronouns section, and then edit it to your industry keyword. So if you go to my profile, you will find the keyword personal branding strategist. For my clients also, if he is a leadership coach, I will edit that custom button to leadership coach. So that is the second place where you can insert your keyword. Third becomes your bio, which is your headline that pops up first. So in the first few characters, it is important that you talk about your industry. I mean, if I am into LinkedIn marketing, my headline will be very clear in terms of what I'm offering. So, in the headline, the keyword has to be there. Then comes your about section and your experience section. So, these are the couple of areas. And if I have to talk about visual branding, then I would really emphasize on the cover image also. And if you have LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn also have a new feature that you can add multiple banners on your LinkedIn cover photo. So if you are, if you want to be more creative, if you want your profiles to stand out, you can click on the slider option and you can add 3 to 4 banners, so that looks more impressive. So but of course it is limited to only those people who have LinkedIn Premium. But I think a lot of people these days use LinkedIn Premium, so I think that is again an underutilized
Yeah, yeah, that
feature.
is one investment you need to do. Like even B2B companies, at a certain stage, you have to look at that sales navigator, So
Right.
you reach out like to your sales team or whatever, you are able to connect with the right people. So Shambhavi, if we look at, like if you could look at certain examples, like when you have in this domain, like high quality B2B leads, like
Hmm.
um, when we look at people, lead generation, we are getting a lot of low quality leads. Like this, I've observed over a period of time I'm working in digital marketing. It's because the more amount of people are on the platforms and they are maybe engaging with your content,
Hmm.
you're also getting like certain leads which it's not going to convert, and it's like unqualified in general. So you have observed anything with content you have worked on with particular client, and qualified amount of leads has kind of increased because of that.
Of course, a lot of case studies. I mean, for most of my clients, there are certain things that we do so that we make sure that they get good amount of leads, and those leads are high quality leads. So, see, from content, if I talk about getting organic inbound leads, that is something which is slightly unpredictable. If you have a really, really good personal brand, really good content strategy, then of course you will get a lot of inbound DMs and leads. But again, it depends upon how you convert the client, because these are already
Hmm.
warm leads coming to you, and these are high ticket people because there is a reason they are reaching out to you. So make sure that you have like a good offer to make to them and how you convert the client. But now coming to the part of how you can like generate leads through LinkedIn. So number one is through the service page. So you have the services page and it will give you shitty leads if you don't optimize it. You will get like more than 50 leads in a day, but all of those leads will be very bad and shitty because your page is not optimized. So please make an effort where you optimize your service page individually. I'm not talking about your overall LinkedIn profile, but your service page. So add the targeted services that you have to offer. Don't list like 10 things into one service page, that you are into coaching also, corporate training also, personal branding also, consultation also. If you are doing so many things, it will confuse the person. So try that you
Hmm.
target at least not more than 4 to 5 services, add a proper description about it, that okay, these are the services and this is how I can help you. Then a very important aspect is attaching a clear call to action. For example, if I visit your service page, I like the service page, but now I don't know what to do next. How do I get in touch with you? So add a Calendly, add a Top Mate, or add something through which people can book a call with you. And then
Mm.
add a
So like
very
a clear CTA is
important.
assigned, and I think it can be more than one also, where just not the final where you are booking the call. It can be like some kind of a landing page
Website,
you've
landing
created, or
page.
site or something, and they get to know more about that specific service or product or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So on service page, you can attach up to 8 media, and this can
Mm.
include video, links, and images. So it can be a mix of
Mm.
multiple things. You can attach some images, some you can take some images from your pitch deck and attach it in the service page, or some images of your client testimonials, and then you can add your landing page link, and towards the end, you can add probably a call to action. Also, if you are very camera friendly, you can also create a video of yours explaining about those services and attach that. So when your like service page is pretty optimized, there are higher chances that you will get qualified high quality B2B leads. Now coming to the third part of how you can generate high quality leads, it is through lead generation and outreach. So there are multiple ways. Of course, if you want to spend on sales navigator, then of course that is a great tool. But if you don't want to spend initially on these tools, expensive tools, then you can probably take out 30 40 minutes in a day, and search for that particular industry of your audience in the search bar. And then you get multiple filters on LinkedIn. I mean, right now I cannot share my screen and explain all the filters, but once you search, you will find a lot of filters. And after that, you will get a list of people. Now don't start randomly sending connection requests to these people. Firstly, try to
Mm.
visit their profile, analyze their profile, understand whether they have the purchasing power to buy your product or service or not, and then you would want to send them a connection request or a message. And in this case, it is high chances that it will be high quality lead, because you have invested that money into researching about the person and researching about their backgrounds. And of course, LinkedIn is a hidden gem. So there are multiple other methods through which leads can be generated. These were a couple of few. And I personally use the Sales Navigator, and it has worked out really well for me. So if a person is interested, I think you can invest in Sales Navigator and give it a shot.
That's right. Um, in any suggestions you have, Shambhavi, in terms of the AI tools which can be used with LinkedIn or any other
Hmm.
like platforms or this thing. Like for
Hmm.
me, one example is the Duck Soup, where you automate, like when you create say a list in Sales Navigator, you can automate messaging to them. That's one feature. There are many other features, but something which I've also used. So anything else, any kind of suggestions in that direction?
See, I'm not really aware of a lot of tools, because I personally don't complicate my lead generation process by involving a lot of AI tools. And also, LinkedIn has recently published a particular document about their terms and conditions, where they've actually mentioned that if you are using any third party automation tools or Chrome extensions, there are higher chances that your profile can get flagged or shadow banned, because any
Hmm.
resource that is scraping data from LinkedIn without its permission and authority, it will affect your LinkedIn profile. So I'm not going to blindly recommend any tools, but yeah, I do know a couple of tools that can help you. There is Clio, there is Apollo that can help you with generating email IDs of LinkedIn profiles and prospects. But I won't recommend any tool which will directly help you in sending connection request on LinkedIn, directly liking or commenting on LinkedIn posts, because in that case it is kind of taking data from LinkedIn, and I think is not going to be very like a very safe option. But again, people can do their research. Of course, if you come across any tool that you feel has worked out for people, you can give it a try. But I personally have not really used any additional tools as of yet.
That's it. So, Champi, what do you feel in terms of these tools now? When there's a conversation you have, like the people who are actually not working in marketing with them, right? Even in a professional space, they would say like because of there's so much of discussion on different tools and all,
Hmm.
there's an overemphasis of learning them or doing a course on them. So, what is your opinion on that? Like where like my thing would be like, say if you know even like one chat gtp, well there are 100 other features in it, like image generation is started, and there are certain ways where you can analyze data also in it, right, and then give it. So it's not necessarily you're using so many tools. You can use the basic chat gpt, gemini, and all these ones only and get. So what would your like opinion in that space be?
My opinion will be the same, that I am not a big of a techie and I don't believe in you complicating the process by involving too many tools. It is said that
Hmm.
AI will kind of, make your process simpler, easier, but for me it becomes very technically complicated. I don't indulge into a lot of AI tools. I feel that I'm very happy with using Chat GPT, Sales Navigator, or Notion. That like there are a couple of resources that I use and I stick with them. I'm not into experimenting different things. If like a person is from the technical background, they are a developer or a tester,
Hmm.
programmer, then of course feel free to explore out there. But I think as a layman person who wants to grow their personal brand on LinkedIn, who wants to get started with LinkedIn content marketing, I would suggest you stick to the basics. Don't overcomplicate the process, don't get indulged into many tools, and never spend a single penny into these courses that teach you on how to use these tools. Because a, these tools are like 80% of the time not very useful, and b, they are just making money out of it. I mean, they just want you to
That's right.
purchase their webinar or their course, and you will feel that you will end up leaving with nothing. So I would not
Hmm.
recommend you spending
That's
money
right.
into
I think Rohit, it's like overcomplicating things with a lot of tools. I mean, what is your business or marketing objective? Now, sometimes what happens, like for example, we mentioned the messaging thing. Obviously, if you sit down and you have to message 200 people, it will take a certain amount of time. So maybe you can Google and look at a tool in that thing, very specific, where it saves the time. But
hmm,
when you go into the tool just for the sake of, somebody is marketing it, and then you said, okay, it could be used, and ek to you'll get into that thing where it will affect your process. It could make it slower because you are kind of learning the tool and that thing, and you're over complicating the thing. And also
hmm,
then the over reliance also, and the human touch which goes away, right? Because
right.
the your brand own personal brand voice should come with your opinions. It can come up with something through the chat gtp something, but then your own voice should come even in a post if you make on linkedin, like that's what happening. So also another that comes out of the question, so what do you feel like in the personal brand where you can see it's out and out, there's no personal opinion, it is just a quick search done on chat gtp in 5 minutes and the person then put it on linkedin?
Hmm.
How, what do you feel as an effect on the personal brand?
It has a lot of effect, to be honest. If you are
Hmm.
portraying yourself, for example, a leadership coach with 20 years of experience, but your content is exactly same as that of a 5-year-old experienced leadership coach, then what's the difference between the two of you, right? If 10 other
Hmm.
people are posting the same generic content and you are copy pasting the same thing, but then you want high ticket clients also because you have 10, 20 years of experience, you are not going to get that high ticket client,
Hmm.
because the client also sees that ये same post तो मैंने देखा था कल किसी और के page पे, and the person had 2 years of experience, and now the similar post I'm reading on your profile and you are saying you have 20 years of experience. So I believe that I will not say that don't use chat gpt or any AI tool. Feel free to use it, but again spend some time into bringing your own voice to it. Prompt it in such a way that the output that you are getting, it should be combined with your personal journey and story. And I think the formatting is very important. If you are posting huge chunk of paragraphs, because ChatGPT has this tendency of writing in a similar pattern, with lots of emojis, with lots of dashes, with lots of similar repetitive words. So if you are simply copy pasting it and not formatting it, of course it will pull down your reach, you will not get the traction. So use
That's right.
AI, but
I think
again,
you're seeing that in some places people have below their post that chat gtp content that comes in is also being added, like when it says should I suggest something else, and
yeah,
somebody
and
by
people
mistake,
end up
because
even
they are
posting
caught.
that.
And now I think recently, like Gemini also somewhere, somebody was posting some personal story and they said this photo I took, and it was actually Gemini generated, the logo was there, so it was not genuinely what they just made it up, the whole thing.
Right, right, and it happens a lot of time because see, if you are in a hurry, right, and you just want to post on LinkedIn just for the sake of consistency, then people end up making these mistakes which really impact their personal brand. Because there are people, even if you have just 1,000 followers, remember that these 1,000 people trust you, and this will break their trust once they see that it is not coming out of your expertise, but it is purely coming out of AI and generic content. So, I mean, if a person can invest, I would highly recommend in investing into a strategist who can take this load from your head, do it on your behalf.
Yeah,
But if you are a person who cannot invest, then at least put in some time and effort into, generating right kind of quality posts that actually help you in growing on the platform rather than taking away the trust from your followers.
that's right. That's very well articulated, Shambhu.
Thanks.
So, when we look at, let's come to the part, this is the more mainstream part, I would feel, where let's look at normal corporate working professionals, right?
Hmm.
What would they use their LinkedIn? It's getting either a new job or some kind of way where they can create a brand where it's their own, like, somewhere they can do part-time thing or something, like in terms of projects and all that they get on the side or something. So for corporate professionals, if you look specifically, LinkedIn optimization, anything new things that have come up which will be enlightening for them.
I think there is no specific new feature. I mean, I have already covered this part that there are slider banners. You know, if you have LinkedIn Premium, you also get a custom CTA button where you can add your website, landing page, portfolio link, any link for that matter.
Hmm.
And apart from there is no like a specific new feature. But I think even in the
No, so
normal
in
features.
general, if you
Hmm,
look at just in terms of how they are presenting and they are at least everything,
hmm,
like for example, the featured section, we can talk about that. One
hmm.
case study of something they did or some great review they got from a client about themselves or something. So
Right.
something like that, some in that direction, maybe not new, but like it's a best practice.
Yeah, now the best practices, of course, there are not one, there are many of them. If you are looking for opportunities, work opportunities where people look at your profile and they end up inquiring about your services, then of course, number one is firstly, please optimize your profile in terms of visual branding also. Visual branding like a good cover banner. Then coming to the service section, as I've already covered, add in the feedback and client testimonials, your website if you already have. If you don't have a website, you can always create like a free website on Topmate, like a landing page on Topmate. If not Topmate, then probably I mean there are multiple other platforms where you can add your portfolio. You can create a Canva site for free, right? To put in the
Hmm.
effort into creating some sort of a landing page. And then feature section is of course one of the most important sections. People, I mean, add random certifications there, or if they are getting an award, they will feature that. But I think it's a missed opportunity. Okay, you have got an award, that is an important thing, but again, that is not going to help you convert a client. So maybe add some sort of a relevant client case study, a use case, or in terms of any client results that you have brought in the past. Or if you want to work with specific industry of client, then probably write a LinkedIn post about that and feature that particular LinkedIn post. Or if you have some LinkedIn recommendations that are relevant, you can also feature those LinkedIn recommendations there. So try to analyze like what are your best performing, or you can say the best aspects about your career so far, and try to feature that in that particular section. And even in the experience and the education section, right, if you are still in college and looking out for freelancing opportunities, in college also I'm sure people do certification courses, some kind of diploma degree. So please add all of these things on your LinkedIn profile, so that people know that apart from studying, you are also upskilling yourself by doing some certifications or diploma. So add those things. Even working professionals these days, they are working full time and they are doing some other courses in the side, right? So please feature all of that on your LinkedIn, so that recruiters know that okay, this person is in a full time job, yet they are doing something else also. They are also upskilling themselves, investing into upskilling their knowledge. So I think these are like small little things that create a lot of impact and create a difference.
That's right. Um, Now, Shambhavi, when you look at, say, the recruiters, like when you're looking at this, is not just limited to LinkedIn. When you are looking at hiring new talent, like especially marketing, sales, and all, do you think like looking at a digital footprint also there is a factor? Because it's like, say, personally, how you distribute your own content, for example, and what is your reach for all? Because there have been cases where, like, like these startups and e-commerce companies, they've hired someone looking at their content, right? Like, because they say that, okay, if they are able to do it with limited resources, they can achieve so much. Then with resources, how much? Because they are really good in content distribution, right? So what do you feel of that angle in terms of for recruitment of sales and marketing, the approach of employers?
Of course, I think I have been hired by multiple brands and founders in the past purely because of my content. So I will
Hmm.
definitely vouch for this. If you are a graphic designer, please post as visually appealing graphics as you can. I mean, if you are not getting to work with brands, you can still post case studies in terms of, again,
Hmm.
figure out 5 to 10 top brands, understand their current campaigns, understand their current ad creatives, and try to tweak it in your own way and post it on LinkedIn. What if the brand
Hmm.
actually sees your post and reach out to you saying that, okay, we loved it, please send us your portfolio and let's get on an interview. So there is like
That's
a
right.
very big opportunity. Kiran Shah actually did the same thing for hiring for his marketing and the
Yeah.
internal video team. So there is definitely a huge opportunity. It's all about how bad you want it, and right, and
Hmm.
how important it is for you. And everything boils down to one particular fact: how serious about you are about building your personal brand. So
That's right.
definitely
I
it
think why
works.
that you're absolutely right. Like, because we are going in that direction as everyone having a digital footprint, right, is very important. Like, what
Hmm.
you build towards that. Like, it's not just restrict to professional content creators, not just restricted to founders of companies coming up, not as restricted to people with huge positions in corporate. I think today, like you mentioned, like the graphic designer bit, um, I mean, I will be the first one. Say you're googling something about that person, or it could be in their domain only, and say their videos come in. That is a huge kind of discovery tool, right? You can get so many inquiries based on that, with freelance work, or it can be full-time job, whatever, depending. So yeah, I mean, going way forward, there's no kind of excuse. You have to put in that efforts towards your personal brand.
That's true, and that's why SEO comes into the picture. That's why I talked about optimization, right? If you want to rank for your industry so that you get seen in the search results, be it on LinkedIn or on Google, firstly, it is important to be digitally active. Create a
Hmm.
personal brand, write the right kind of keywords, and once people land to your profile, have some kind of social proof so that people can look at it and reach out to you. And if
Hmm.
and to be very honest, I'm somebody, I will never buy from a company or a freelancer if they don't have a personal brand online. I won't
Hmm.
just trust a brand for some reason. Even if they are doing great offline, I will still
Yeah,
not be convinced enough to invest in them if they don't have a digital footprint. So I
that's
think
right.
it's extremely important.
Yeah, it kind of so increases like your credibility also, where you stand out. Like, just an interesting thing I want to say, like, somebody had connected with me in some event. This was like business professionals, I think mostly marketing and media people were within that event. So one or two people had kind of approached me only because somewhere they had seen certain podcast or some LinkedIn video or something, and they it was such a, like a icebreaker also, because like they could immediately approach me. They had seen that thing, and then we talked about it. And also somewhere these all, I mean, if when you have content out there, so much to talk about, and then it's a common thing, right? Because when you have to engage with new people, you need some common thing to start off that conversation and keep it going. So this kind of helps a lot, because there's a lot of stuff about you, and then
Right,
like
right.
you would have personally experienced so much, that there's so much about you, and you have showcased your content on LinkedIn, Instagram, and all that. Then it's then easier to form newer connections.
That's true. I mean, of course, you should have a common ground of conversation, and that happens when you have a community of people to network with, right? And that happens when you are active and when you are dedicating time on the platform. I'm not just talking about LinkedIn here. It can be Twitter, it can be Instagram, it can be Facebook, Reddit, any platform for that matter. If you want to
Hmm.
create a network of people who vouch for you for your services, then of course you need to spend that time into creating a meaningful conversation. And let me tell you, 70% of my pitches happen in the DMs, and I never sell or pitch myself. I just create a bond, a relationship with my prospect, right? By appreciating their piece of work or by appreciating whatever they have built within their journey. And that's how I spark a communication or a conversation. And then maybe later, after chatting with that person for 4 5 days, I will subtly tell them that, okay, this is what I have to offer, and maybe we can see if we can meet synergies. So I think that's an important part, and it is relevant for all the industries. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So as I was mentioning that I think, it's important to have a meaningful conversation with your prospect and even people who are not your prospect but within your industry and network, because I think that's how, you also get a lot of referrals through these people because they have seen your work. If they are not buying from you because of XYZ reason, they can always refer you to somebody else. And a lot of my clients
Hmm.
come from referrals, and because I have built a very strong relationship with my clients in the DMs and even in offline meetups and events that I go to. So that will be like a big advice for anyone trying to create a community on LinkedIn. Try to reach out in the DMs, and please don't pitch yourself always. Firstly,
Hmm.
try to spark a communication conversation where you build a bond, you build a network, appreciate them for what they are doing, for what they are building. And probably after chatting for like 4 5 days, then you can in a very subtle way let the person know that, okay, these are my offerings and maybe we can meet possible synergies. So I think that should be the best approach, because in this era people hate salesy or very promotional pitches in the DMs, or rather people appreciate people who are genuinely reaching out just to build a meaningful connection.
That's right. So thank you so much, Shambhu. I think we can wrap up. It's been a great podcast yeah, episode here with you. We had amazing insights from you, and definitely your experience and your talent in domain is in public view, which even more after this episode, people will see will definitely be beneficial for you as well, and also clients in terms of the education they get from this.
Thank you so much for having me. And no matter how many podcasts I do, everything I come on, every time I, communicate, I have something new to share. And I think this is the best way in which I can, convey about my experience, expertise, apart from, of course, the LinkedIn post that I write. So it was a great conversation with you, Nikhil, and I'm sure your audience must have taken some fruitful, advice and insights from this episode.
That's right. Shami, so just before wrapping up, like if we look at personal branding going forward, like say how you should do, say networking, like what is your approach for networking with respect to, because one is that you create content and all that we all discussed and how you have to use it social media, but what about say offline, or how do you interact? You go to certain events or network or meetup group or some,
Hmm.
today a lot of people have WhatsApp groups, also try to join those in your domain. Any kind of thing that you have used and you've got success and you can share about it.
Right. So I am somebody who utilizes all the things. Like I am into WhatsApp groups, LinkedIn groups, Telegram groups. Then I also get invites. I mean, these days it is very easy for people to get into events because there are platforms like Meetup and Luma where
Hmm.
events are listed. You can simply browse through these events, and whichever is relevant for you, you can register. So I think if somebody is not very introvert, or they are not socially awkward, I think this is a very good opportunity to network, right? Spend some time into Meetup and Luma. You will find a lot of events within your city and register, try to show up, and and please don't just exchange business cards, but actually exchange thoughtful conversations, because people
Mm,
just keep that business card aside and they don't just remember you. So rather
mm,
have a meaningful conversation, leave a footprint in the person's mind, right? So that when they think about LinkedIn, they think about you or whatever your industry is. And talking about WhatsApp groups, again, it is also very fruitful. um, if you don't know how to get into these WhatsApp groups, probably first you need to uh, build network on LinkedIn itself, and then try to get access to these WhatsApp groups. And I think on Telegram you can simply search and you can find some groups, but WhatsApp doesn't work like that. So to become part of WhatsApp groups, I think firstly you need to get in touch with the right folks. And there are multiple
mm.
agencies also who have their communities on WhatsApp. So probably you can search on Google about these communities who are into brand collaborations or influencer marketing, and you might get access to their WhatsApp community pages. And if I talk about LinkedIn networking, then of course I think it is one of the easiest places. LinkedIn being the biggest B2B channel, I think it's the easiest place to create your community. Just find the right kind of people from your industry and aim to like connect with 5 people every day. So if you connect with 5 people every day, by the end of the month you will have handful of people within your DMs. And yeah, I think it's pretty simple. You just should know how to crack a conversation, and these days I think everything is pretty accessible.
That's right. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Shambhubi. Just like your social media, if you could tell the audience where all you are active on it.
Sure, I think, of course, since we have talked a lot about LinkedIn and the entire episode was about
Yeah.
LinkedIn, so I think LinkedIn is the best platform where you can find me. But apart from LinkedIn, I am also like pretty active on Instagram. I create content around LinkedIn marketing there. I'm also pretty active on Twitter, so you can find my Twitter threads over there. I do have a YouTube channel. I do post some of shorts, like some shorts there, but again, not very consistent. But yeah, if you go to my LinkedIn or my Instagram, you will find other social media
The
links and
links.
pages over there. Yeah.
That's right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shambhubi. We'll wrap up here. We will obviously about, I would say, living in conclusion, link personal branding today. It's become so important that you need external help. When to reach a certain scale, where this is where experts like you come in and you can give that, because it's something where you have done it for a period of time and you invest that time every day in it. So there's a expertise which is important to be competitive, right? Like, at the end of the day, every product or service today you're competing is to be competitive. You need a consistent effort and the right direction, also to go
Right
towards it.
direction.
That's right.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Can I say one closing thought,
Sure,
Nikhil?
sure. Yes.
Yeah. So just wanted to say one last closing thought for all the people who have stayed up till here and watched the entire episode. That I mean, of course, we have shared all the insights or the tips and tricks on how you can build a personal brand. But still, if somebody is struggling and they don't have a blueprint as to how they can take that first step towards creating a personal brand, of course, I mean, I've mentioned my social media channels, but apart from that, I also offer one-on-one consultation calls for people who want to understand how LinkedIn works, how personal branding works, what kind of content pillars they can target in order to get traction for their profile, how they can generate leads, and basically any queries that you may have. So of course, I mean, if you go to my LinkedIn, you will find my top mate through which you can book these calls. And even if we don't get on a consultation call, you can always drop me a DM, and I will be more than happy to address any of the queries. Yeah, that's it from my end.
That's it. Thank you so much, Amavi. And to the audience, please, you can, if you want to be part of a podcast, you can definitely contact me on LinkedIn, and we can see if we can work together or kind of have a good collaboration. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Until the next time, I'll see you all. Take care.